Welcome to my channel, WorldCoin USA. Today, 3 1-cent United States coins are waiting to reveal their hidden stories. They may look like ordinary pennies, but one tiny detail could change everything. As the camera moves closer, mysterious dates, unique mint marks, and forgotten history begin to emerge. Which coin holds the most surprising secret? Which one could make collectors take a second look? Stay focused, because the biggest reveal is coming soon, and you won't want to miss it. Every coin has a story, but only one stands out from the rest. Let's get started. The year was 1978. In slow motion, a small copper-colored coin spins across a wooden table. The room is silent. The light reflects from its surface, revealing two familiar words. 1 cent. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary coin. A coin that millions of Americans carried in their pockets every day. But what if this tiny piece of metal had a story far greater than its size? As the camera slowly zooms in, the date appears. America was living through a fascinating time. Technology was advancing, new ideas were changing the world, and millions of these Lincoln cents were being struck at the U.S. Mint. But among those millions, one coin begins a journey unlike any other. Imagine a young boy receiving this penny as change from a neighborhood store. To him, it was just 1 cent. Nothing special. He slipped it into his pocket and continued his day, never realizing that decades later someone would be studying that very coin. The coin traveled from hand to hand. A cashier, a collector, a traveler, a student. Year after year, it continued its silent journey across America. The camera slowly follows the coin as it moves through different places. Busy city streets, small town shops, old cash registers. Each scratch on its surface becomes a clue. Each mark tells part of a story. Then something unexpected happened. One evening, many years later, an old coin jar was opened. Hundreds of coins poured onto a table. Nickels, dimes, quarters, and among them sat the 1978 Lincoln cent. The owner almost ignored it. Almost. But something about the coin caught his attention. Was it the shine, the condition, the mint mark, or was it simply curiosity? Slowly, he picked it up and examined every detail. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln looked back at him. The words, "In God We Trust," stood proudly above. Everything seemed ordinary. Yet collectors know a secret. Sometimes the most common-looking coins can hide the most interesting stories. The camera moves closer, closer, closer. The suspense builds. Could this coin have survived untouched for decades? Could it have escaped heavy circulation? Could it be a forgotten treasure waiting to be discovered? The collector carefully places the coin under a magnifying glass. Every detail becomes larger. Every line becomes clearer. His heartbeat seems louder with every second. But the real value of this coin wasn't just money. It was history. This penny had witnessed more than 40 years of change. It survived economic shifts, new generations, new inventions, and an entirely different world from the one in which it was created. While people changed, the little 1978 penny remained. Silent, patient, waiting. The camera slowly circles around the coin. For a moment, it feels less like a coin and more like a time machine. A small piece of American history frozen in metal. And that's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know which coin will tell the next great story. You never know what hidden detail might be waiting beneath years of dust and wear. And you never know when a simple penny could become the star of a collector's collection. As the screen fades to black, the 1978 Lincoln cent remains in the spotlight. A tiny coin, a long journey, a story worth remembering, and perhaps, the next incredible coin story is already sitting in someone's pocket right now, waiting to be discovered. The rain was falling softly on a cold autumn evening. A forgotten wooden box sat hidden in the corner of an old attic. Dust covered its surface, and nobody had touched it for years. The room was silent except for the sound of rain tapping against the window. Then, slowly, the box opened. Inside were old photographs, letters, and a collection of coins gathered over many decades. As the camera moves closer in slow motion, one small coin catches the light. A 1997 Lincoln cent. At first, it seemed ordinary. Just another penny. Just another coin among hundreds. But sometimes the greatest stories begin with the smallest discoveries. The coin had spent years traveling through America. It had passed through grocery stores, gas stations, restaurants, and busy city streets. Thousands of hands may have touched it. Thousands of pockets may have carried it. Yet somehow, it survived. The camera slowly rotates around the coin. Its copper surface reflects a warm golden glow. The year 1997 appears. A year filled with change. The internet was growing. Technology was advancing. The world was entering a new era. And during that same year, millions of Lincoln cents were produced at the United States Mint. Most people never gave them a second look. But collectors know something different. Every coin has a journey. Every coin has a mystery. And every coin has a story waiting to be told. The suspense begins to build. Imagine a young collector walking through a flea market many years ago. He stops at a small table filled with old coins. Nothing seems unusual. Then suddenly his eyes focus on a single penny. The 1997 Lincoln cent. Why did it stand out? What made it different? The answer remained hidden. Slowly, he picked up the coin and examined every detail. Abraham Lincoln's portrait appeared strong and clear. The letters looked sharp. The date was easy to read. Everything seemed normal. Yet curiosity refused to disappear. The collector purchased the coin and took it home. That night, under the bright light of a desk lamp, he studied it carefully. Minute after minute, hour after hour, looking for clues, searching for secrets, trying to understand why this simple penny had caught his attention. The camera zooms closer, closer, closer. The room grows quiet. The suspense becomes stronger. Could there be an unusual detail? Could there be a hidden feature? Or was the true treasure something completely different? As the magnifying glass moved across the surface, every mark told a story. Tiny scratches revealed years of circulation. Small imperfections showed signs of countless adventures. This coin had survived decades of daily life. It had crossed cities. It had crossed states. It had crossed generations. The collector realized something important. The value of a coin is not always measured by money. Sometimes its greatest value is the history it carries. The camera slowly fades into scenes from the late 1990s. Busy streets, old cars, shopping malls, payphones standing beside sidewalks, people carrying pockets full of change. Among all those coins was this very penny. Silent, watching, waiting. Year after year, the world changed around it. New technologies appeared. Old traditions disappeared. Yet the little 1997 cent remained. Still carrying its story. Still carrying its history. Still carrying memories from a completely different era. Then came the moment nobody expected. One day, another collector discovered the same coin at a coin show. He examined it carefully. The room seemed to stand still. Other collectors gathered nearby. Everyone wondered the same thing. What had captured his attention? The camera slowly circles around the penny. The suspense grows stronger. For several seconds, nobody speaks. Then the collector smiles. Not because he found a fortune. Not because he discovered a rare error. But because he discovered something even more valuable. A connection to history. A connection to the past. A reminder that even the smallest objects can survive for generations and continue telling their stories. As the spotlight shines on the 1997 Lincoln cent, the coin appears almost legendary. Not because it is the rarest coin ever made. Not because it is the most expensive. But because it represents a journey that few people ever notice. A journey through time. A journey through history. A journey through countless hands and countless memories. The screen slowly fades to black. The music becomes softer. The final image remains. A single 1997 Lincoln cent resting quietly beneath a beam of light. Still holding its secrets. Still waiting for the next collector. And perhaps, the next great coin discovery is already sitting inside a forgotten jar, waiting for someone to find it. The old clock struck midnight. A collector sat alone in a quiet room surrounded by hundreds of coins gathered over many years. Most of them had already been examined and catalogued. Nothing unusual. Nothing exciting. Just another night. Or so he thought. As he reached into an old leather bag purchased from an estate sale, his fingers touched something small. Something cold. Something forgotten. He slowly pulled it into the light. A 2002 1-cent United States coin. At first glance, it looked like any other penny. Abraham Lincoln stared from the front. The familiar words were exactly where they should be. Everything appeared normal. Yet something about this coin felt different. The collector could not explain why. He turned the coin over and over in his hand. The room became silent. Questions began filling his mind. Where had this coin been? Who had carried it? How many stories were hidden behind its worn surface? The mystery had begun. Back in 2002, America was changing rapidly. New technology was appearing everywhere. People were beginning to live in a more connected world. Millions of pennies were produced that year. Most disappeared into circulation. Most were spent, forgotten, and ignored. But not this one. This coin seemed determined to survive. Its journey started at the United States Mint. Freshly struck and shining brightly, it entered the world with millions of others. No one could have imagined the adventure waiting ahead. The coin first found its way into the pocket of a truck driver. For weeks it traveled across highways stretching from one state to another. It visited busy cities and quiet towns. It crossed bridges. It passed through toll booths. It stopped at diners and gas stations. Every stop added another chapter to its story. Months later, it found itself in the hands of a young boy. The boy loved collecting interesting objects. One afternoon he noticed the shiny penny among his change. For a moment, he considered saving it. But childhood curiosity soon faded. The penny returned to circulation. Years passed. The coin continued moving from person to person. A teacher, a mechanic, a waitress, a traveler. Each carried it for a short time before sending it on another journey. The coin never stayed in one place for long. It was always moving, always searching, always surviving. Then came an unexpected twist. One winter evening, the coin was dropped into a charity collection box. For several years it remained there, forgotten among thousands of other coins. Darkness surrounded it. Dust gathered. Time passed. Many coins came and went. But the 2002 cent remained hidden. Waiting. Then one day the box was opened. Coins spilled onto a large table. Volunteers sorted them quickly. Nickels, dimes, quarters, pennies. Among them was the 2002 cent. Once again, it escaped being forgotten. The journey continued. The collector studying the coin now felt as if he were uncovering pieces of a secret puzzle. Every scratch seemed important. Every mark seemed meaningful. The longer he looked, the more curious he became. Why had this simple penny survived so many years? What stories would it tell if it could speak? The room felt smaller. The mystery felt larger. Hours passed. Outside, rain began falling against the windows. Inside, the collector remained focused. He imagined the lives connected to the coin. The truck driver crossing endless highways. The young boy spending it at a local store. The charity worker counting donations late into the evening. Each person unknowingly became part of the coin's incredible journey. Suddenly, the collector noticed something. Not an error. Not a rare variety. Something far more important. History. Real history. Not the history written in books. The history of ordinary people. The history of everyday life. This small coin had witnessed countless moments. Celebrations. Challenges. Victories. Losses. Dreams. Memories. It had quietly traveled through them all. Most people see a penny and think it is insignificant. But collectors see something different. They see a survivor. A witness to time. A small piece of metal carrying stories across generations. The collector smiled. At last, he understood why the coin felt special. Its value was not measured by dollars. Its value was measured by the journey it carried. The years had changed the world around it. Technology evolved. Cars changed. Cities grew. New generations appeared. Yet the 2002 penny remained. Still here. Still telling its silent story. Still refusing to be forgotten. The collector carefully placed the coin into a protective holder. For a moment, the room became completely quiet. The mystery that began at midnight finally had an answer. The greatest treasure was never hidden inside the coin. The treasure was the story behind it. A story of movement. A story of survival. A story of time itself. As the first rays of morning sunlight entered the room, the 2002 Lincoln cent reflected a small beam of light. The collector looked at it one final time. Then he whispered, "Every coin has a story. Some stories are simply waiting for the right person to discover them." And somewhere out there, another forgotten penny was waiting for its own story to begin.